welcome back to 709 Meridian, an audio commentary podcast. We are your hosts, Dee and Andrew.
Hello.
And guess what, folks? You just stumbled into our annual Summer of Duologies. That's right, our thing that we just do around here where we take one movie and then we take perhaps a sequel and the franchise sort of peters out. But this time around, we're doing something a little different. We're doing original films and their remakes. And certain films we have done here had flowered into franchises, while their remakes just stayed the remake. Um, we already kind of done one before as part of the Friday 13th series. We've done Friday 13th, 2009. And I say it's more of a reboot than a remake, as it references earlier films. Who knows?
Doesn't matter anymore.
Right. They're doing something different anyway. So that's there and gone. But today we're doing a film we've kind of anticipated and sort of danced around doing. This is 1984's A Nightmare on Elm Street, the Wes Craven classic.
Yes, indeed. Which we may have kicked around thinking about doing during a previous summer. And we didn't really finish, folks. Our pairing for this will be the remake. So we are Summer of Duologies this year, originals and remakes. So that means, because I bet during one Summer of Duology, we kicked around the idea of doing this and New Nightmare. Because, you could sort of do a sequel jump like that.
Mm-hmm.
For a twofer. But, so 1984, this is 2 years after Swamp Thing, or 3 years. 81? Yeah. So 3 years after Swamp Thing. He made stuff in between, right? Like, Wes Craven was always weird because when I first
did TV for a minute, right?
He did TV movies throughout, I think maybe up to here.
Oh, right.
Wasn't Deadly Friend supposed to be a TV movie?
No, it was supposed to be something different. He says it was definitely supposed to be a sort of a, like more dramatic than graphic thriller.
Oh,
He was told, the studios told him to make it more like Nightmare on Elm Street. So they put in a nightmare sequence where the girl's father shows up in her nightmare and he's totally Freddied out.
Hopefully not played by Alan Thicke, because that'd be really fucking weird.
Yeah.
By the way, everybody, when Alan Thicke was Robin Thicke's father, in case you want Robin Thicke to make entire sense to you, when Alan Thicke was 40, he groomed and got engaged to Christy Swanson, which also explains why Christy Swanson's a broken human being.
Yes.
Hollywood, folks, Hollywood. Canadian Hollywood, right? Alan Thicke's Canadian.
Yeah, he's Canadian.
Yeah. They fucking come down here and look what they do. Look what they do. It's fucking Canadians.
Well, they could write a good TV theme song, boy.
But yes, so 1984, this was years after Friday the 13th had already... Friday the 13th was already its reboot or relaunch stage, right? Because,
everything was... I think it was Texas Chainsaw Massacre that kicked it off with the horror films. And that just snowballed into just every single one of them being remade.
Well, yes. And of course, the remake is Platinum Dunes, and we can talk more about that shit show next week. But when we discuss the weirdness of the aughts as a sort of the post 9/11 inability to make, $80 million movies rated PG or 13 or R. But anyway, no, and that's not what we're talking about here. We're talking about the original, which was intended as a Disney project, folks.
Wow.
It was going to be a PG-rated Disney project. And then either they said no or New Line said yes, and off we went. And of course, the success story of Nightmare on Elm Street is more that New Line became this sort of powerhouse B movie studio, I guess you'd say.
Mm-hmm.
But they were theatrical. They, by the late 80s, they had started getting into art house stuff. By the I mean, one of my favorite fucking movies, One Night Stand, is a Fine Line feature, like, or it might even just be a New Line. And so they're still around, you know. They made Black Adam and the Shazam movies, but they've mostly been subsumed into Warner Brothers, and that's been I don't know. I mean, Fine Line Features, I feel like disappeared by the early 2000s.
Yeah,
But
a lot of independents faded out, or they went low.
yeah, only a few of them made it, and then Miramax blowing up years before other things involving the Miramax brothers also was a big deal. So the whole thing changed and blah, 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 blah. But Nightmare on Elm Street, 1984, cable hit, video hit.
Video hit, yeah.
This was, and it was, I don't know what Siskel and Ebert said about it, but it was one of those horror movies that they were like, no, the first one's good. It was in that Halloween, Texas Chainsaw, pretty much every fucking horror franchise except Friday.
Yeah, nobody's
ever like Friday the 13th one was really good though.
But that's the thing about the reboot. If you're remaking Friday the 13th, you have to remake that movie.
Right.
And Jason is
nothing to do with it.
Yeah. Right. So if you're remaking Friday the 13th, you're remaking that movie.
Well, did you see, last thing before we start, folks, sorry. Did you see that Brian Fuller dropped out of the fucking TV show?
Really?
Mm-hmm. Friday the 13th is being turned into a prequel series by A24, everyone. And Brian Fuller, king of the one season then canceled or I quit before the show actually went into production, was going to be the person, but he quit before the show went into production. Wow. He was also going to be the guy who ran Star Trek Discovery, I think, and then he quit before. So, Mr. Creative Differences, we can call him. But anyway, nothing to do with this. Are we ready?
Yeah.
All right. Starting in 3, 2, 1. Play. Uh-oh.
Huh?
Wow. Just fucking go off, New Line.
Yeah, that was it for a little while. Can't remember when they switched it, though.
Yeah, I can't either. I'm trying to think, what's the next sort of New Line? I guess Friday the 13th Part 2, actually. So, here we go. Disney movie here, everybody. And I mean, if you didn't grow up in the 80s, you have no idea what a big deal these fucking gloves were. God damn. Like,
yeesh.
You bought them, you made your own. They had,
even if you didn't even have the sweater, you had the.
They were like Logan shit before Logan shit. Top billed John Saxton. Amanda Weiss here in a now Nightmare on Elm Street was not TNA the way that Friday the 13th was.
No.
But it was not, it was sheer nightgown.
Yeah, this was more introducing Johnny Depp. Mm-hmm. This was more about the gore.
And by the end of the series, you would sort of have these incredibly elaborate sort of sets where that would be more the emphasis than anything else. Whereas in the Friday the 13th movies, you'd still waste an hour of your runtime with the fucking teenagers. By the end of this, well, because Freddy, unlike pretty much any other franchise, was very continuity heavy in some ways. That people very much lived in the you know a world where Freddy exists to
And
the
these
point
were
that
they became characters too, memorable characters. Like, you had the kids from 3, and then you had
yeah.
Alice.
Well, you
So
had
they,
you had actors who went on to things, which you don't really have that much of in Friday the 13th.
no, some of them they just went on to other stuff like Friday the 13th. Or
But Heather Langenkamp, the lead in this, would go on to be a sitcom
mm-hmm.
co-star for 6 years or something. Amanda Weiss, didn't she do a
She's
teenager movie around this point too?
better off dead.
Better Off Dead. She was the girl in Better Off Dead. That's right.
Yeah.
So,
Mind if I date your girlfriend, Lane? All right. So she snapped awake with the ripped up nightgown.
these movies are also entirely about either dads being bad or stepdads,
Yeah.
and it like keeps up throughout the franchise even after Wes Craven leaves. It's really weird. It's just like,
Part 2 is about gym teachers being bad.
yes, it is. Part two's a lot, everybody.
Oh, here we go. So the creepy imagery has already been established that we already have a villain.
Yep.
We don't know his name yet, but we know something's up. Here's our chipper little group of kids.
Oh, is that Jesus Garcia?
There you go. Yep.
So the teenagers at school setting is a little bit Halloweeny, but also you'd sort
Yeah.
of had more of this by this time. By 84, there were going to be other high school horror movies. I mean, even Prom
hmm
Night, for fuck's sake.
And I think this is the Teen Wolf School. It's one of those.
Yeah, we get our creepy music here. Like, we're not messing around at all. Who released? It's one thing. Avco Embassy. That's right.
hmm
But there's a lot of nice sort of mid 80s. We'll find out when we get to a night scene about blue lights, but we've sort of hit the point in the 80s where we've got solid production values, like people know how to light stuff by this time. It's not, that's what's a little bit different about Nightmare on Elm Street is that it's starting in sort of a different filmmaking era, if you would, than
hmm
the other ones did. Like Halloween came out of low budget. Texas Chainsaw Massacre was micro budget. So this
Yeah.
is low budget, but it's not
And they
low
worked with a
budget.
lot of effects guys who could,
Mhm.
you know, who were just coming up.
This was very much a Fangorian franchise. So I
Yeah.
mean, like Freddy was always about being gory, and I think that peak in 4 or 5.
4, because then by 5 it was just like 5 was brushed so
Okay,
fast.
that's the one that came out a year after 4. Yeah,
Yeah, and then Freddy's Dead just killed it because that had to be the most obnoxious of the sequels. Like
and
people had enough by 5, but then Freddy's Dead comes out. And it's like, yeah, there better not be another one of these fucking.
yeah, and Freddy's Dead is actually the reason that I've never wanted. Well, other than I don't like these, and they're longer than the Friday 13th, and they're not as fun as the Friday the 13th once they get bad. But Freddy's Dead has never been
Mm,
released in its original theatrical cut.
mm.
They cut a bunch of Yaphet Kotto out for the video release. I know
Wow.
this because I saw that stupid fucking movie in the theater.
No.
I did. I saw that, and I don't think I'd ever seen any of the other ones. Was I in
Uh,
middle school? I would have been in middle school. I was in like 7th or 8th grade, and there was some fucking kid who couldn't shut up about the Nightmare on Elm Street movies, and so I went to go see this one. I got in somehow. It was in 3D for a second, and then Yaphet Kotto's in it like for a bit in the original.
yeah,
He's
he's
not
he's
in the.
he's
He's barely
a
in the.
supporting character.
Yeah,
Yeah.
nobody knows why they cut something. I mean, probably because they used somebody's real name or some shit. Like
Uh,
maybe they made fun of Taco Bell or Pizza Hut or whatever. Like in a was it which was it one was it in Poltergeist?
yeah. Poltergeist. They have a
Pizza
line
Hut?
about Pizza Hut.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And a
They
very
did it
weird
in.
cut. Yeah.
They did it in Goonies too. I think they recut the scene where it was like Straw Hat Pizza, but then they were like, no, we have to use Godfather's Pizza.
Uh,
All right, so we got our likable kids, Jesu Garcia, who was Nick Curry at the time. He was also in what? Gotcha. Damn,
okay.
he was a sidekick in Gotcha with Anthony Edwards and a bunch of other stuff back then.
Yeah, these are the not Brat Pack kids
Yeah, they
of
could
this
actually.
era.
They were hard workers because they could
Yeah,
act.
they had to act versus doing Calvin Klein commercials.
Oh yeah, this guy, Johnny Depp. Um,
Yeah, too bad
yeah,
about
he's not
him.
bad.
No,
He's not bad.
no, he's not. I hoped he'd do the remake. I thought that would have been badass.
Actually, to
Yeah,
get him to play Freddy would be kind of genius.
I mean, now it's just recording him for 2 hours. Like, put the glove on him and just fucking set up a camera in the middle of the night, and you could have a nightmare. It's a fucking nightmare on Depp Street. But yeah, for the
All
remake, I
that
thought it would have been really cool if he'd done it.
muttering and mumbling in that weird accent. All right, kids. I think this is all the TNA you get.
Was she in a hockey movie, or is that Better Off Dead?
I'm better off dead with skiing.
Oh, that's right. Well, maybe the snow. She has a very.
Yeah,
This was a very early '80s look. It sort of burned out with China Phillips by Wilson Phillips' time, but like this was a look.
yeah. She did a lot, Amanda Weiss.
I bet she guest starred on
Which
every fucking show.
Oh yeah, I think she did a Family Ties maybe and
Uh-oh.
Highway to Heaven.
And I mean, Robert Englund had done V was before this, right?
It was around the same time. I think the first V was 83, yeah.
Yeah.
And
So,
V the Final Battle. Yeah, those were good.
that second
Oh,
one. Oh, man.
jeez. I didn't like the ending of the second one was hokey, but still, like,
Somebody
motherfuckers
knows.
wasn't playing with us, the
Nope.
visitors.
But Robert Englund played the cute visitor who
He was the nice one, yeah.
he was the good one who didn't really want to eat all the humans.
So this was kind of a immediate reversal for him to be,
Yeah. And he would flare up to popularity that would fizzle out by like 88, but like Robert Englund could sell a fucking. Because you got
yeah.
to also remember
Well, I'd
these were
say,
theatrical releases.
yeah, I'd still say he's our generation's Lon Chaney Jr. because
Yeah,
he played Freddy in all of these. He did him on the show. That wasn't
yeah,
a look-alike or no shit like that. So he put in work.
he did the work. Yeah.
You
Okay,
know,
here we go. Big effects shot.
there we go. Yeah, in the wall.
So basically, yeah, 84. This is the era that is post um
Friday
sort
the
of the
13th.
Star Wars movies. So
Or
like
yeah,
people knew how to do effects, practical effects a little bit differently, including putting a big latex thing on the wall and creeping through. So like there's a really good I don't even know where it is, if it was a what kind of special it was, but like a making of Jurassic Park, maybe the first time they talk about how it's guitar strings doing the water, which would now just be CGI and shit like that. But
mm-hmm.
the mix of practical effects. But the 80s was when people learned how to do the practical effects. And really, when you think about it, the period of special effects cinema was basically what, like 77, 70s. Because, I mean, we talked
Yes.
about it on our King Kong 76 episode. King Kong
Mm-hmm.
76 was not made with the special effects that would continue on into the 80s. It was made with 70s special effects that had
Yeah,
started in the 60s.
because that was before Star Wars. That was
Yeah.
before
It
Superman.
was before Star Wars,
So
Superman, Close Encounters.
so
It
people clown on it for okay, it was Rick Baker in a costume, but
damn good
look at the
costume.
yeah,
Damn
look at
good
the fuck they
costume.
did with that shit.
Damn good sets. See, like
Right?
miniature sets. So yeah. And it's like you guys didn't have a problem with it for Independence Day, so shut the fuck up. But okay, so we do have blue lights here, but they're for effect as opposed to
Yeah,
the
because this is
weird fucking millionaire who owns Crystal Lake.
in Dream World has this sort of extreme look.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that used to freak the hell out of me.
Yep. And I mean, that's kind of the thing is it's made like they're like these are movies made for teenagers. It's like they're made for the teenagers who want to make
Oh
out,
shit.
and then the fucking their brother and sister that they took with.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
See, shit like this was genuinely creepy
yeah.
because that just looks like anywhere you might be.
And I mean, it's another thing where I mean that's just fucking gross. So like, and
Yeah,
that would also keep up. I feel like they toned that down by some point, but like one of them's just got lots of like. I mean, isn't there one where Freddie makes a lot of rape references and shit? Like, they really go all
yeah.
over the place with it. Like, they really wanted to piss off parents groups by the third or fourth one. Like,
Well, The second one, I think, is probably the
Wake
one
her
that
up,
just
dude.
goes all over the place.
Yeah, the second one's fucking nuts if you haven't seen the second one.
The third one is more, here's our mythology now.
Mhm.
This is what we're gonna, and it carried over to four and five by extension, because then they had established characters that carried over.
And then
Eh,
six, they totally dumped it. But here
yeah,
we've got a
six was
really
like,
nice composite shot. So this is the type of thing. Like, if you want to talk about this not being done well, go watch Poltergeist 3 or our Poltergeist 3 track. But yeah, I mean, like this was some of that was practical effects. It was good composites. Like they were putting the effort into these. Whereas the studios, including MGM for Poltergeist 2, they
mhm.
were not willing to sort of do the gore work. Part of the gore work that's uncomfortable is they want it as realistic as possible.
And
It's
that's, yeah,
creepy. Like,
there was that divide. There was horror movie special effects that were scary for stuff like Poltergeist, and then you had the gore stuff like the slasher pictures.
mhm. And then you had Nightmare on Elm Street that included this temporary
Right,
torture aspect to it, right? Like
right.
he's toying with these kids and torturing them before he kills
Mm-hmm.
them. Is there an extended TV cut of this?
Eh, there might be, but it's only, I think it's just slight.
Okay.
Like, they put in different angles or something. John Saxon, folks.
John Saxon, babies. I mean, John Saxon was the name in this.
Yeah, he's probably who they settled on after. I'm sure they wanted Joe Don Baker or somebody. And
Well, I mean, just think about this. Like, you take this, you could make this into a PG movie pretty quickly. Like,
yeah, you just cut, take out all the blood and the
the fact that he's a
graphicness.
fucking murdered child molester. Like, basically,
Now,
you take out the Freddy origin.
that's something I kind of want to touch on when we do the remake, because there was a they had a different idea for Freddy, which I thought was kind of interesting, but then I kind of understand why they just fell back and remade it as it is.
I think I know what you're talking about, and I think I agree.
Yeah. So stay tuned, kids.
This, of course, is Ronnie Blakely, who
Yeah.
presumably was in some other shit at some point.
A very just there's something out there about her. Like
Right. It's like moms on Quaaludes. Like, it is the 80s.
we don't it's not outright, it's not as the movie progresses, and this is the thing I like about the movie, is that like every not just the main girl Nancy starts, as her world starts crumbling, it seems as everybody else around her is deteriorating too, to a certain degree.
And we'll get to it when we get to it, but like Nightmare on Elm Street 1 is a movie that makes a pickle for the sequel, which we can talk about.
Hmm.
Okay, so Jesus Garcia is wanted for murder now. So we've got an actual like on the run plot.
He's the Latin C. Thomas Howell.
Though he ended up in Christian movies like 10 years before C. Thomas Howell did.
Yikes.
I think that's why he changed his name, isn't it?
I think so.
I think, yeah.
Well, for a while he was Latino, and then he was Italian.
It was not an easy time to be. Well, I mean, we don't have any Latino or Italian heartthrobs in white people entertainment, do we, right now? Actually, now that we're talking about how hard it was back then.
John Leguizamo thinks he is.
John Leguizamo is about 58. He's turned into a really good dramatic actor.
Yeah, but he's good at standing around with his hands on his hips, looking disgusted.
He seems like he's genuinely supportive of the plight of young men and young people. But I'm just thinking, it's not like you've got. I mean, shit. I don't know. What do people watch? Grey's Anatomy? Like, I don't know.
Yeah, why is that shit still on?
Because people don't like good things. That's because people don't like good things. We lost Isaiah Washington for that fucking show. Like,
well, lose it, Isaiah Washington, gain a Sterling.
Okay, that is a good point.
Sterling K. Brown, whatever.
I mean, honestly, it's weird that Isaiah Washington wasn't busting ass to be on The Wire. Like, it's weird that he wasn't busting ass to be Idris Elba on The Wire. Like, he's older, but like,
yeah,
he could.
I'm surprised he's not back yet. They don't have him in one of the books of Ghost or whatever fuck. Okay, so we're back to
scary school stuff. Yep. We're down the hall from Teen Wolf and from Laurie Strode.
Oh yeah, Halloween. Matter of fact, Laurie is just now looking out the window. And no, I think
but like
Heather Langenkamp lost out in the 80s because Elizabeth Shue existed.
That's a good point. Elizabeth Shue did Link, which was her only horror movie until, God, unfortunately, Hollow Man. But what's that all about? But yeah, no. And the worst thing is, I'm sitting here watching this, going, you know, who'd be really good in this? Elizabeth Shue. Amanda Weiss wouldn't have walked all over Elizabeth Shue in the first act. I'm just saying.
No.
Okay. Just going to say, and I can't remember, it's weird to have a huge no students allowed sign in a high school. That just suggests there's something going on that shouldn't be, right? Like,
wouldn't that be at the top of the damn...
Why is there a fucking payphone if no students are allowed?
Okay, so now we're back to the boiler room here.
I can see this movie scaring the shit out of you on a TV at fucking 9 o'clock at night when you're not supposed to be watching it. Like,
no, this one, back in the day was genuinely scary.
Well, I mean, the thing about these, even more than the Friday the 13th, and they tried to do it with the Friday the 13th eventually, these movies could have absolutely terrifying 30-second TV commercials. Right?
Oh, yeah.
Like, The Tina getting dragged down the hallway was totally a TV clip that they got away with some of that for a second because that's what it was like in the 80s. It wasn't necessarily you couldn't show the body bag. It was that
You
you
couldn't
couldn't
show it
show it.
for a length of time.
Right. You couldn't show it for 4 seconds. You could show it for 3.9 seconds.
Oh, the glove.
I also feel like maybe the music doesn't help.
No, that.
Certain 80s music choices
Yeah.
did not age.
Now this is genuinely creepy, scary. Freddy
Yeah.
Krueger, who later on became something else. A lot of people like to say that he became Captain Hook. Oh, that's
Lin Shay,
yeah,
who would go on to only do gross out appearances in, is Robert her
mine.
husband or her brother
It's her brother.
in her brother's movies, including Kingpin? Isn't that her at the beginning of Kingpin? That was a New Line.
Probably.
That was the other thing. When New Line history, mid '90s, New Line kicked it off as a like a comedy studio. I think they had some Jim Carreys. They had something.
Didn't they make Farrelly Brothers something?
Yeah,
No,
or
Dumb and Dumber,
Dumb and
right?
Dumber. Yeah, and then Kingpin, and then
And
they
and
lost him after that.
and The Mask was New Line.
Mask was New Line.
And I'm forgetting something.
They were kind of by the '90s. I would say New Line sort of replaced Orion in some ways. Like Orion
Yeah,
had gone bankrupt, but
it
New
became
Line
the
was the
cheaper
same
studio that
idea. Yeah,
that made money, but they didn't do big numbers, but
yeah.
they did reasonable, respectable.
And they would have breakouts, like The Mask was a breakout.
Yeah,
They had a real problem making franchises, though. Oh, and I think I forgot to say this. They were known as the house that Freddy built
exactly.
because they had been around since, I think, 70 or something.
Hmm.
But this skyrocketed them in, just the right time.
Which is why the sequel pretty much came out, what, a year to the day almost, maybe?
Maybe even less. We can look.
Yeah.
And that's one of the funny things is everybody always, well, not everybody, but there's this like the one that I always think about is King Kong. That Son of Kong came out the same year as King Kong.
Oh,
So did
the infamous Breakin' and Breakin' 2
right.
Electric Boogaloo.
Basically, it's that you have such a big hit that you want it to, continue immediately. So you did King Kong, you did Godzilla. The first Godzillas are like that. The first two,
Yeah. Hmm.
like it's nobody knew how to like. You don't know how expectation works because it's not like you have TV. You don't have home
Yeah.
video. You don't have
Strike
cable.
while the iron's hot.
Yeah,
You try to go with it as long. Now,
it's never worked right. Is the thing.
franchises just didn't break out till the 80s when you
Yeah,
had, and it wasn't just funny, it wasn't just horror movies,
no, those action
it was
movies.
action movies and sci-fi pictures and
And basically, you need to wait 2 to 3 years. And I mean, 3 years was the sort of prestige sequel. Let's call it that.
mm,
Because you'd wait 3 years. You had 3 years between the Star Wars, and that sort of set that rhythm. But you had back-to-back sequels.
Yeah.
You had legacy sequels, right? Like Aliens. Would Aliens have gotten greenlit if horror hadn't made a mid-'80s comeback like this?
Yeah.
With these types of numbers? But yeah, it just seems like New Line couldn't get a franchise going by the 90s. They made a big
No.
deal about getting Jason and totally bungled that.
Yeah. Yeah, because I think they were afraid to continue doing what worked.
Yeah. And
They
they
wanted to
were
make the character unique to the, New Line sort of brand, I guess.
so that was a fuck up. Though I do love Jason X. Like that's something else.
I gotta watch that.
Yeah,
I haven't
it's
seen that in years.
it's just a lot. It's like an Aliens remake. It's a lot.
Wait a minute. Hold on. Is Leprechaun New Line?
Leprechaun might be the first one anyway.
Okay.
But I mean, so horror movies, you sort of just got this impression that they played mostly urban theaters, so New York, LA, Chicago.
Mm-hmm.
Not necessarily. I mean, this is also before the urban megaplexes, so that's
Yeah,
another
this is
thing.
where you had standalones
You had
still.
standalone theaters. You might catch it a couple nights out of the week. They might not be showing it every night after the first week. Like, it was an entirely different sort of movie going experience back in these days. Stay awake, fast acting. Fuck yeah. I don't know why the house looks so familiar to me. I think it's because when I was working on 709 art, I was trying to do something with the side stuff, but I have no
Mm-hmm.
idea. Evil Dead.
Yeah,
So,
Evil Dead.
and I mean, Evil Dead is your example of your low budget. Mm, low budget,
Yeah,
no studio, right? There's low budget studio, low budget, no studio.
they had to use trickery, you know,
Yeah.
their ingenuity for the special effects.
These are movies that everybody has a SAG card, whereas I don't even know when Bruce Campbell got his SAG card.
Well, looky there.
Yeah, it's just like Scream.
Oh, you mean the good ones, all right? Or at least the first one. So this is also a couple years before Jump Street.
It's a couple
Um,
years before it's the one with Rob Morrow,
oh,
Spring Break.
Norbert. Oh, yeah. No, this is around the same. This might have been a year before
Oh,
that.
that's right. It was. I was like 85.
Private Resort, right?
Yeah, Private
Now,
Resort.
Depp wasn't even. He was a new hire after the Jump Street pilot because his character Hanson was played by another actor.
Really?
Yeah, I remember FX made a big deal about playing the original
Oh,
pilot
okay.
like maybe once or twice, and then they never played it again. Back when they played Jump Street every fucking hour of the day.
I think what bothers me about this one is that Wes Craven's fucking
Hmm.
setups for the one shots are just bad. Like, they just don't feel like they're talking to each other. Wes Craven would become a brand of his own, separate. He would try to become none of these guys wanted to be associated with the franchises they launched. So Carpenter, Wes
Yeah,
Craven.
they all assumed that they were gonna do what Spielberg
Yeah,
did.
they all wanted to be the Spielberg of gore.
Yeah.
Um, and what's funny is even Sean S. Cunningham tried that shit. Like, I feel like he stopped by like 90, but like he tried to break away from Friday the 13th. And then by
Mm-hmm.
90, it was like from the creator of Friday the 13th. And everybody's like, who gives a shit who made Friday the one?
Right.
One without Jason?
Make another Jason. This is all about Jason.
Oh, little, is that a Halloween homage there? Yeah, I mean, this is like horror out of Mr. Boogedy.
God, that's another. I haven't seen a lot of those Disney movies in years.
I watched Brat Patrol again once.
Oh wow,
Yeah,
that's Sean Astin,
yeah.
right?
Sean Astin, I think
It's
Tim
kind of a
Thomerson's
Goonies
his,
like,
yeah,
yeah,
Goonies on a army base.
army base,
Then
yeah.
Tim Thomerson's the dad. And they, I don't know if they stop a war or if they just have to convince dad that somebody's corrupt. I can't remember.
Damn it, I have a hankering to watch Not Quite Human, but
I
fuck Alan Thicke.
don't think.
uh, and she's in that. Christy Swanson.
Oh God, is that where they met? I assumed it was on Growing Pains, which was also
It
would
might
be
have been.
problematic. Oh yeah, because he
She,
could get her work. That's right. What am I? Jesus, ew.
Robin Lively's in it too. The Teen Witch. Uh-oh. Note, I believe they changed Freddy's hat because in the earlier scenes it looked a lot smaller. Now it looks like a straight up full on fedora.
Yeah.
Ugh. This was done pretty good because it did sort of blur,
Yeah.
and
Well,
they did it without special effects.
I think that was one of the things that, I mean, that is hard, right? Like the dream sequence thing, and this really was the first one to. What mask is he wearing there? What the fuck was that? Is that an Amanda Weiss mask? Yeah. So
Yeah.
I mean, like, this is some weird fucking. This is weird detailed shit. This isn't. This is a lot more than Freddy or Michael Myers ever did, right? Like the multimedia screwing with people.
See, in this one, he just basically had to be a monster.
Yeah. Though you can see him doing shit. That's what I think's so
Mhm.
funny. It's one of those things where it's like, did Wes Craven tell Robert Englund the camera was someplace else? Or did he just, was he just going to bite it off and fucking do what he could? Because I mean, Wes Craven had been trying to work for 10, 15 years at this point.
Wes Craven did. I
Or not
almost
Wes Craven,
forgot.
Robert Englund.
Oh yeah, Robert Englund.
Yeah. Sorry, Wes Craven.
Wes Craven did Stranger in Our House.
with
One of the
Linda
greatest.
Blair,
Linda
right?
Blair, yeah. The greatest Channel 50 movies. And Robert Englund, he was in a lot of stuff, before this. He was grinding.
I feel like there were ways that he could have stayed awake, like standing.
Or something.
Okay, why does Ronnie Blakely's hair look like she's been fucking? No offense, kids. That's what it looks like when in the 80s when
Yeah, when he
somebody
had
was
that
fucking. Yeah.
rumble tumble. Oh. Uh-oh.
Yep.
Watch me turn this peach.
I'm working, kid. I had to. We cut the scene about me bitching about alimony, though. So we get to see Amanda Weiss's dream, and we get to see Heather Camp's dreams. Are they the only two whose dreams we get to see in this one?
I think so.
Okay.
Yeah. Because from here on out, it's just strictly, Nancy. Going in and out.
And that's another funny thing is they made a big deal. What was it? It was near night. No, it wasn't near Nightmare. I mean, it might have been in near Nightmare a bit, but it was in Freddy's Dead. They made a big deal that the way they get Freddy and Freddy's Dead is whatever plan they come up with in this.
Oh, it's always, yeah. It's always, we got to bring them out into the real world somehow.
Yeah.
When they
Well,
learn they could.
in 1, 3, and 6, they forget them
Yeah, for some reason.
Yeah.
I think in, what was it? Yeah, 5, they kill him in the dream world. I forget.
Because 5's the dream child.
And then 3, it was kind of a twofold thing because he was the strongest in 3. Where they had to kill him in the dream world and you know, something with his bones.
Uh-oh.
4, Freddy was brought back by fiery dog piss.
Which they made fun of in Monster Squad, right?
Think so.
Oh, how? Because Monster Squad was 87. Yeah, whatever.
Yeah, one of those movies did.
Yeah. And that was the other thing is these would become a bit by the late 80s too. So you would start having like pseudo spoofs of.
Oh yeah. Um, Jeez. Eh, just like, Jason,
Yeah.
Freddy had the knockoffs. That some it kind of extended into the 90s because when you didn't want to do slashers and you went supernatural, you just said, "Oh, dreams."
Right.
Just create a fucking dream character. I think it reached its limit with Brain Scan. I think that might have
Yes.
been the last of the, you know,
And that was New Line.
yep.
There he is,
Eh,
everybody. Charles Fleischer, the
Charlie
voice of
Fleischer, Roger Rabbit.
Roger Rabbit. It's the really creepy doctor guy. He looks like he plays a murderer in all of his other performances.
This is the guy who they almost gift wrap the later seasons of Welcome Back Kotter to.
Really? I actually did not
Yeah,
know that.
he was like him and some brother were like the rival guys from the other school. And then in the later episodes, because you didn't have Travolta and Cotter tapped out too, they had to pad the show out. So they brought Charles Fleischer in more. They like had him and his sidekick transfer over to the school. So they became frenemies of the Sweat Hogs so he could get more airtime. That show ended up so weird.
This is also the same year as or was Dreamscape 83? I thought it was 84.
Yeah, Dream Street. No, it might have been 84. I want to say 83, but it might have been 84. And then another nightmare knockoff was Bad Dreams of
Mm.
1988,
Oh,
which
God.
had a Freddie Alum, the great Jennifer Rubin, who was
Yep.
one of the unsung scream queens. She did more than that, but Bad Dreams would probably be the most well known. And the big bad in that was Richard Lynch.
Richard Lynch.
Richard Invasion USA Lynch. Richard A Team Lynch.
Right. Have we watched anything with Richard Lynch? I don't think we have. It's fine. We don't have to hurry, but
I want to say we did, right? Wasn't he in?
he
He
wasn't
wasn't
on
in any
the.
of the Seagulls.
I don't know. I don't even want to look. This nurse does
Oh,
not have a lot of affect. She did not. She does not have a side card. Don't
no,
make any noise.
you are not to look the actors directly in the eye. See, she's been hyped. Oh,
Oh shit! It's his ass.
why is it a cowboy hat?
Um, is he not going to have his hat the rest of the movie? We need to check on this.
Right. But then again, it's the dream world. He could just
Make another one.
conjure it. Yeah.
I feel like you would take her out of town. Nobody in these movies ever takes anybody out of town in time. Oh, mom's been drinking.
Yeah. She's a lush.
I mean, she's wearing her fucking pajamas during the day like it's normal, right? Those are pajamas, aren't they?
But, but you see now how more zombified she's acting?
Mhm.
Or is that just
Well,
Ronnie Blakely being a bad actress?
that's possible too. But she is apparently drinking Captain Morgan's. And I mean, how if you're going to be a fucking lush who drinks Captain Morgan's all day or whatever, what do we got there? It's a white label. It could be Captain Morgan's. I don't know what that looked like in the 80s, but yeah, I mean, she's totally.
I mean, if this is her idea of drunk. Oh, and Nancy's looking a little.
Got the gray hair streak coming.
Yeah. Oh, that's right. He's referred to as Fred Krueger in
Yeah,
this one.
because the song doesn't have his name in it yet.
No?
I don't think so. Do we have 1-2 Freddy's coming for you? We don't have 1-2 Freddy's coming for you, which
No,
also
they was
doesn't make.
doing it. They did it in the beginning, right?
Was
They
there?
had the girls doing the
They
hopscotch,
did the hopscotch, but I don't
the
know if they
jump
were
rope.
singing.
Oh,
I think it was just music. I think it was just the theme.
right.
We killed him, baby. It's kind of bad that John Saxon left her because she was a bad actress. That's just mean. He must have known that when they got married. Wasn't she like in the? Wasn't she like a 60s?
And she was like a 60s, 70s kind of ingenue, maybe. She looks like, you know, she used to be one of the young chicks, and then she had to play mom after a while. Oh, yeah, they always use this. That's how you know you're in California, right there, that bridge.
Yep, that bridge. That or the empty storm thing.
Or the watchtowers.
She was in some TV and movies. She was in some indie shit. She's in the fucking Driver. She really did not do a lot after this either.
Obviously, because
Yeah, so
she seems so spent here.
started in 70 at the age of 25
Uh,
is the first credit I'm seeing, and she was still playing high schoolers in 72. Looks like.
uh,
Or maybe not. Maybe she played mom to a divorced kid. She was on a ABC after school special. And she was
ah,
in Nashville, some other shit. She was on a love boat. But yeah, I mean, she was not,
she ran the circuit.
yeah. Anthology horror short co starring John Hurt and Keir Dullea. Like, she's one of the people who didn't really make it out of the 70s, basically. Are the bars on the windows new?
Hmm.
Or is this somebody else's house?
No, that's their house.
Okay.
The bars. Nobody's coming into this house.
Which, hey, I mean, they're going to talk about it now, I assume, but before that, oh, now she's acting very weird.
Yeah, she's completely unhinged.
They don't do shit with this in the remake either, do they? Like the idea that mom could be some
The
kind of a
remake is a
threat.
blur.
Yeah, I don't remember it either, which is kind of good because I hope that means it's short. Hey, honey, this is where we burnt Fred Krueger to death.
It's that weird, barely blinking, like
Yeah. It's the fucking Quaaludes, man. It's the
right.
fucking Quaaludes. I kept his glove.
This is before opiates, I guess.
Feel like the kids should have a memory of this, like going on. Like they should remember kids disappearing. Because why the fuck would they be in on it if it weren't when she were like a little kid?
It, yeah, it's. I think
God, she's bad.
it's part of the supernatural element of the
Yeah.
mythology, or the parents hid it so well, and that it happened. So they would have been what 4,
Right.
so it would have been something that the parents hid.
But it seems like there should be like a kid with an older brother who knows shit or something.
Yeah, right. It was like, yeah, I remember it was terrible. My brother went missing, something.
Yeah. Oh, God, a cutoff.
That'll be very it though, too. Which this came out around the same time the book did, right?
Mm. Did Wes Craven ever do a fucking Stephen King adaptation?
Oh,
It was 86.
wow. So Stephen King was taking elements of this. That's why they reference it. I think in both of the remake ones, right? I
I
know the
haven't
movie
seen any of the
theater.
movies.
Yeah, the movie theater is playing on one of the Nightmare on Elm Street. Probably 3.
Oh, isn't this sweet? I hope neither of them dies in the next scene.
Oh.
Don't fall asleep.
Mm.
I don't know, man. I feel like you're a teenager. It's a lot easier to stay the fuck awake than it is when
Right.
you're like, get your ass out of bed. Why don't you sit in that uncomfortable fucking chair, bro?
Oh, if we didn't know somebody was about to kick over yet. In fact, she's sitting there looking at her picture of her
My
friend.
friends are all gone. Making axes on them. But she's smart. She's in an uncomfortable chair. Wake the fuck up.
Get your ass up. That room looks too hastily put together to
It
be a
does.
like actual.
80s teenager with varied interests room.
Right. Like there's just everything on that fucking wall. It's too neat.
Yeah. Yeah. Nightmares over, baby. Have a drink of Mama's special drink. That's what I want. I want a Nightmare H40 where it's just Heather Langenkamp as some drunk mom and her daughter's being hunted by Freddy. Like a flip on H2O.
And that would work too, though.
Yeah.
So I'm sure Heather Langenkamp would bring it. She's been waiting for another one of these, I'm sure, for years.
So even though they are teenagers, of course, kids, if she had been taking those 80s caffeine tablets and drinking coffee, she would have a heart attack and die because you would probably have what 2,000 milligrams pretty fucking quick. Okay, there you go. Heather Langenkamp's not that kind of girl, so chill the fuck out, people.
All you get is a little side action there, a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
And why is the dad such a prick?
They made him chop Freddy up.
See, I think that's one of the things they should have made clearer is that some of these parents were guilty as fuck,
Mm-hmm.
but they just made them stock parents of the
Yeah.
kids. It doesn't make any sense that Nancy's mom would be the only one haunted by it because she brings it up.
Well, dad shared a look with
Oh yeah, and a dad.
the other guy's dad, Nick Corey's dad. They shared a
Mhm.
look at the funeral, but it went nowhere. Wow, that's a very nice picture of Johnny Depp that you have. It's time for my drink. Oh.
Big ass bottle.
Looking frosted like it just came out of the freezer. Oh,
Right. She just pulls it out like what if
hang on. I think Nancy's got a stuffed megalon. Is that a megalon or what the fuck is that?
oh, that's a monkey right there.
Okay.
One of those
Nancy,
simple monkeys.
it's 12 midnight.
What do you want?
Don't look at the camera, Mom. Yeah.
Yeah. Johnny Depp was made by these two people.
Oh, hell yeah, he was. They fucking stole Johnny Depp from the hospital, man. Come on. Look at
There's a
those two.
couple from Raising Arizona.
So
Oh,
Nancy gets to do some different things than a traditional final girl gets to do, right? Like, she's not really a final girl in the same sense that you are in a Friday the 13th or even the
well, she's
Halloweens.
literally a final girl in this.
Yeah,
But
but I mean, she's a lot more active in
right,
this.
she took you know yeah, you're right. She took action and she learned the rules, so to speak, and she used it against him.
And I mean, that would sort of come back by the end, like the third one for sure. But then the last two, and I mean, I guess even the Lisa Zane technically, is that you would have a female protagonist who wasn't
Mm-hmm.
just screaming and possibly topless in the first 20 minutes. Or in the
Right.
case of Friday the 13th, dating her 48-year-old fucking married psychiatrist or whatever the fuck. Like, hey, this life, baby.
Dirty old Steve Christie.
You can't get out, baby.
Hey, I locked the doors. Yeah.
I'm a good actor. I was in Nashville. Robert Altman said I was good.
Oh,
He
the
might have been
heavy heat.
smoking pot. Uh-oh.
She's
Johnny Depp's headphones don't look like they're real headphones. I wonder if they're going to be.
aren't those old ass headphones even by that year?
Maybe. That could have been during the era when everything was silver plastic. Remember when everything was silver plastic for a second?
Yeah. Oh. Oh yeah. Hey, Kool-Aid.
Where's oh good mom? Where's dad though? Dad's the one who ought to
Right, where's the
fucking.
asshole dad?
So the room might have been so jankily put together because they also had to do it upside down.
Right. Now how do they explain that?
Fucking paramedics bringing a.
All
They didn't
right, a
take the sheets.
stretcher.
Put on the stretcher. The sheets, like what the fuck? He's just under the bed, folded in half.
Uh,
We got a crane, folks. We got a crane. '84 was a big year for genre.
mm-hmm.
Because I mean, the thing you also have to think about is that like your Star Wars kids were teenagers and beyond by this point, and so you were just trying to like they had a different expectation of genre action in movies, and so it sort of was a very nice segue.
Mm. Well, 82 to, I would say, yeah, 84. Because by 86, 87, everybody was franchise mode.
Yeah, it's wild to think they didn't have a Goonies 2 in the
Yeah.
hopper. Like
Yeah,
that
by
really.
87,
I mean, that
the
seems like. I mean,
latest.
it was Donner. Donner probably. They were probably like, "Hey, you want to shoot something back to back?" And Donner was like, "Fuck you, no, I don't. I do not want to shoot anything back to back."
Well, Goonies, I don't think it was a big hit.
It wasn't. It was a video hit though. It
Yeah,
was.
it
It
was a
was
video
really
hit.
weird. It should have been a theatrical hit, just given how popular it was as family entertainment on video.
Right.
But whatever it dropped against, it was the wrong week. Like,
Yeah. I don't know if it was around Back to the Future or what.
but for it didn't get critical love. I don't think, which was really weird because it's that whole like
Well, no, adults hated it. Like every adult review I've seen of it is just, oh, it's 2 hours of kids screaming. And actually, as an adult now, I get it.
but
Goonies is still
also
great, but
That's what kids would be
And
doing, screaming for
yeah,
2
that's what
hours.
kids would be doing. And then it got sort of outshined by Stand By Me later on,
Yeah.
and
And I mean
Lucas, where
that
you had kids who could carry drama, instead of making you laugh.
right.
That was when it got serious.
Like Arnold at the end of fucking Predator.
Yeah, that's the one thing she didn't do. She didn't call him out, stand on top of the house with a torch.
Freddy! Freddy!
Brother!
I wonder if AI is good enough to draw that art. That sounds fucking badass.
With his burnt sweater as a torch.
Yep. If you're listening to this Heather Langenkamp, we need you to start working out right now for the sequel, okay? Just right now. I'm sure you wanted to take it easy in your 60s, but you can't. We need a fucking action movie sequel to this with you.
Oh, where they're doing a straight up Linda Hamilton?
Straight up. But the whole thing. Like a Tomb Raider. Just fighting our way through fucking Dreamland and shit.
Because you gotta wonder, when they show the characters that survive these movies in the next movie, they never become that.
No.
They didn't become that until Terminator 2.
Yeah, that's true. I don't even remember what happens to Heather Langenkamp in 3, so that'll be interesting. And I mean, she doesn't really become that in New Nightmare either. Like, and that is
Uh,
post Terminator 2. Does it a little bit, but it's all about her saving that
it's
annoying fucking kid.
because in New Nightmare she knew the rules.
Yeah, that's true.
She knew the rules, and she's not Nancy. It's kind of weird. It's sort of a merging between both her and fake her.
I mean, I feel like she probably learned some valuable life lessons navigating just the 10 of us. So, no.
That wasn't a bad show though,
I mean,
where I
no.
recall.
It
I
was, I
haven't
mean, it
seen
was
it, but it
better than, it
was
was
better
not
than
as
Growing
bad as,
Pain.
yeah, it was better than Growing Pains. It was, yeah, I don't think it was one of the god awful shows. Like,
It just, for me, it fell off when they decided that instead of the family, they decided to just say, "Oh, we'll focus on the girls."
yeah. And that
That's
was
why you
like the
assholes are
second
watching.
season.
It's the
Yeah.
girls.
You're watching because of the fucking 22-year-olds
Right,
playing.
playing 15-year-old.
Yeah.
Because I had a thing for, who was it? Not the blonde one, but I think the one that was the next oldest. The one between Heather Langenkamp and the blonde one.
Right. Who the fuck was that? Let's see. The blonde one was Brooke Thies, who I believe was in a. Was she in a Friday the 13th or no?
She was in a Freddy. She was in Nightmare 4.
Or, okay.
Then she got put on 90210 for a minute. She's funny, which is why I don't understand why she never really made it. She was in one of those pilots,
Oh,
one of those unsold pilots that I watched.
okay, let's. I remember, yeah, the mom was good on the patient, the two patient mom
Hmm.
was good on that. Jamie Lunar.
There you go.
There you go.
If I recall correctly, her career crashed and burned because of some weirdness.
Dude, the The guy who plays Graham J.R. Lubbock Jr., I think he's the guy who's directing Fantastic Four.
Really?
Matt Shackman. He did WandaVision.
Okay, I think that is him. That was a kid that was in the slasher movies. He would always wear Jason shirts and shit.
Maybe he dropped out of Fantastic Four. It's not on this page. But who the fuck else would they get to direct it? There it is. Yeah, Fantastic Four 2025.
We'll see. Which is the female Silver Surfer. Okay.
And John Malkovich, baby. John Malkovich in an undisclosed role.
Who else could he be but Willie Lumpkin?
What if they just go insane and cast old John Malkovich as Doctor Doom?
Malkovich is probably the puppet master.
What if he's the mole man?
Oh, God.
You're the mole man. I mean, they theoretically could do 3 major villains. Because if they're traveling into the future between dimensions and shit,
then he's probably be the mole man.
Yeah,
we'll see. Maybe.
I assume Willie Lumpkin will be a CGI Stan Lee.
Yeah.
Like, I can see Stan Lee signing over visual licensing rights. Or his caretaker who was abusing him and robbing him. The power of Christ compels her.
Yeah.
I mean, that shot was more effective than Aliens.
Yeah. Through adult eyes, I think, like I said before, this is more creepy than scary.
Yeah. I mean, it's just, it takes too long to, like, at this point. It's like, I mean, it's 91 minutes, so it's not like they had a lot of. He doesn't have his hat. Okay.
He had his hat when he jumped up on her, though.
They must have decided out of order.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Well, they clearly need to make these in the era of Fitbits and Apple Watches. Like, I want to see how Freddy Krueger is going to. Why has she got the. Oh, no, she brought back a piece of the terrace, not Freddy Krueger. Yeah.
But this didn't make it in Terror in the Owls, did it?
No, because that was same year, right?
Probably. Yeah. I keep forgetting this wasn't in it.
Was it in 2?
No, they never made a second one.
I thought there was like a TV movie. Oh, no, that's the trilogy of Terror.
Yeah. Stupid. Everything's going to be all right.
Where's your drunk ass mom? That's what I'd be worried about.
No. It's the cheesiest shit. Boom. Oh, she home alone his ass.
Mm-hmm. That's the fucking crossover we need.
But should it be kid Kevin or adult Macaulay Culkin Kevin?
Adult Macaulay. It takes place in Macaulay Culkin's $1 billion penthouse or whatever.
Uh-oh.
I like how Freddy's like, I gotta look at that painting there. It's a cool painting. Burn me again.
Damn it. Burn suit.
Is that the same guy who did the burn suit for Swamp Thing?
It looks like the same costume.
It's the Swamp Thing mask. The Ray Wise Swamp Thing mask.
So the cop just wasted time going in there to go get him.
Yeah, and he's
Instead
like,
of just
dude,
lazy
my
ass
house
deputy.
is fucking burning down. Why the fuck?
Right, they don't see all that fucking smoke and shit.
Big Blonde from Halloween 2 would have taken care of it. Hunter Von Leer.
I would have fired every single one of them. Like, all of you motherfuckers, turn in your fucking badges.
Daddy, look.
Footsteps.
How the fuck would she know, dude?
Oh my god, dude. Poltergeist shit. The Beetlejuice effects. Oh man.
John Ashton looking like, wait a second. I said I wasn't going to be in one of these fucking horror movies. Okay, so now we have to decide where the movie ends for who at this point.
Mm-hmm. Oh no. This weekend on Channel 50. Uh, just click your heels together 3 times.
Mhm.
I almost kind of wish they did go the demonic route with Freddy.
Right.
We're in between one of, or they explained that somehow he had become this demon instead of a.
See?
Now, in this first one, the door to the house is blue.
Uh-huh.
In most of the rest of them, it's depicted as red or orange or something.
So she has no memory of anything that ever happened, right?
Well, everything was a dream, even though it's super
Uh-oh.
foggy. And look at it! Look at it! Look at
Did
the
you...
rag top.
Oh.
Hey, wait a minute! They're driving Christine.
Oh, you're right. There's a song. Ah!
Oh.
The end. So the third one, doesn't Nancy just show up and there's like no mention of anything else? Like,
Eh, she shows up with a past,
okay.
and then that sort of helps the kids. And John Saxon shows up again.
In three, he does? Okay.
Yeah, they sort of wrap up both of their characters, and then goes from there to Patricia Arquette's character, who survives three but becomes Tuesday Night in part four.
So we've had Rachel Talalay working on this, Rowdy Harrington. I don't think Rowdy Harrington ever directed one, but Rachel Talalay did 6.
Rennie Harlan did one, didn't he?
Yep, I think it was 4 or 5.
Or probably.
But wait, didn't he do 3? Dream Warriors
Probably.
is written by Wes Craven, but he didn't direct it.
Mm-mm.
Special thanks to Sean Cunningham, Sam Raimi, and Jack Shoulder.
Oh wow, this is one of those early '80s movies where I guess they're only required to play a certain amount of the song.
Oh,
That was super short.
yeah. New.
A Nightmare on Elm Street. New Line Cinema.
And that's like one of the things that nobody really ever thinks about when you talk about double dipping on DVDs. New Line released like 30 gazillion copies of Nightmare on Elm Street. Like,
Yeah, there's so. And what I hate is the ones where they just a reissue of something that had the
oh
same
yeah,
damn
I don't think they've ever had
extras on
any
it.
different speed.
Ugh, it's annoying when and then the commentary tracks become dated.
Yep. Mhm. But I mean, like, they even had them VHS theme sets and shit. Like,
Oh,
it was a big franchise thing. Okay, but I want to know.
I do like
Okay,
the
so
cover.
the Freddy's Dead is the 2D version.
Hmm.
I swear somebody talked about this somewhere. But anyway. Yeah, so that was Nightmare on Elm Street 1. It would be a huge hit, followed months later by The Nightmare on Elm Street 2, which we're not watching. And yeah.
Yeah. And then it sort of took off and became a great, a popular franchise full of spin-off sequels and TV shows, toys. Freddy became a thing. So all you young folks listening, I can't say much else other than you had to be there. Freddy was all over the damn place. I mean, it became a point where it just wasn't scary.
Yeah.
It was a horror franchise, but it just wasn't scary at all because Freddy became this personality. You went to go see the movie for the effects and his one-liners and shit.
Right.
So it just became a whole different thing after a while. Whereas something like Friday the 13th and Halloween sort of maintained a thing where they were strictly beholden kind of to, you have a mythology already, where Freddy became, a thing that had a mythology, and the characters weren't as disposable, I would say, as they were in Friday the 13th or Halloween. The only ones that mattered were Jamie Lee Curtis and then eventually Danielle Harris.
Yeah.
But all that got thrown away once we decided, guess what? It's been 30 some years. Let's have a remake.
So yes, the remake is what, 2010. This was 84, so it was only 26 years.
Yeah, 26 years it took for them to work to the remake. And
the remake was only 6 or 7 years after Freddy versus Jason.
Okay.
So that took 11 years or something after Jason's dead.
And the thing about Freddy versus Jason is that it wasn't quite a mythology film.
Right.
Like, it doesn't play as Nightmare on Elm Street 7 or whatever. It's its own thing. It gives you the basics of what and who Freddy actually is. And yeah, that's that. It does the same thing with Jason. And
we watched that, right?
Yeah.
Okay, that is the most disposable movie ever made. Like, we just watched it not even that long ago. Probably not 7 or 8 months ago. It was during our fill-in season.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's just completely disposable. But yes, it was entirely about the sort of the brands meeting up.
Right. It was intended for our generation to be the Wolfman versus Frankenstein.
Right. Very.
And it was highly anticipated, but by the time it was released, I think most people on all sides had sort of given up and were excited about it, but it turned out to be sort of pretty mid, and the outcome was really mid. I like it. It's not better than any of the sequels in either franchise, but it sort of stands on its own.
And then, so Platinum Dunes remade Friday the 13th first, right? That was like 2008, 9. Did they start with Amityville Horror? I mean, they started with Texas Chainsaw. That was their breakout.
That was the hit, yeah.
And then they did Amityville, and then they did Friday the 13th. They did this. And what they never did was figure out how they were going to do a franchise.
No, because by the time they redid this, the up-and-coming kids that were in it were supposed to move on to other shit. A lot of them didn't.
I just remember the acting being really good.
Yeah, the acting was so... They were all, CW, WB kids for the most part.
So anyway, that'll be thrilling next week. We could just watch Human Target instead if we want to watch a what's the space thing. Jackie Earle Haley. So it is not, they did not get Johnny Depp to do it, but they did get Jackie Earle Haley.
Yeah, who still had heat from Watchmen. He had this sort of career resurgence with Watchmen and what's the other movie? Didn't he get nominated
for Little Children or something?
Little Children, yeah. There you go. So he was like the belle of the ball for a minute. And then I don't know what happened, but he just sort of faded away. I don't know if he pissed somebody off or they just said, you know what, we're going to take that back, Mr. Haley. Still a good performer, but you don't see him in much these days anymore.
Yeah, well, he did Dark Shadows, which was a choice, and that was his first thing after Nightmare. He was in in Lincoln, 70 million people were in, every white person was in Lincoln. But he did not make it to be in what's that other one that every white guy's in? The Oppenheimer. He didn't make it to that. He was
Right.
in Alita Battle Angel. He was in the Dark Tower. I don't remember that. London Has Fallen. Yeah,
they could have wedged him into one of the Jurassic World sequels.
It would have been great doing one of those. He directed
That's what he needed.
Fucking movie starring John Travolta in the year 2015. So that'll tell you it filmed in Cleveland. Okay, all right. Well, but yeah. So he got hot. It didn't really go anywhere. He was in some good shows. I mean, Human Target was good. He's not done anything. He was in The First Lady. What shows that? That's on Netflix or Showtime. I'd watch that. That's the one with all the first ladies, Michelle Pfeiffer and Viola Davis and Gillian Anderson. I'd watch that.
Oh.
He's not playing anybody whose name is recognizable. So yeah, I mean, it's too bad. He really Nightmare. He's also not like good enough. So it's not like
he can only
do what he can, but
yeah,
it's not like he transcends the material. And I don't know. It is too bad because yes, his Human Target character was a delight. As I recall, that show was delightful. But anyway, we will be back with the not delights of Nightmare on Elm Street 2009, directed by Samuel S. Bayer, who directed the Nirvana video, Smells Like Teen Spirit, and I believe nothing else.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
They gave feature length to this guy.
Yeah. And we can talk about it then, but Platinum Dunes is Michael Bay's concept production company that you can be pervy, gory, and inept, and people will pay for it. And he's not wrong. So, all right. What's up, everybody? All right. Thanks for listening, folks. We'll be back.
Good night, folks. Thanks for listening.
In the murky swamps of fear and dread, where Freddy Krueger's legends spread, Andrew and Dee, with insight keen, guide us through each haunting scene. From VHS to DVDs, the franchise grew with twisted ease. Freddy's charm, his one-liners bold, turned horror tales to tales retold. New Lines creature, born in '84, spawned sequels, toys, and so much more. A mythos rich, with fear entwined, yet in our hearts, nostalgia kind. Freddy met Jason in a clash. A fan's dream turned to a bash. Mid it was, yet fun for some. A monster mash where legends come. So here's to Freddy, a toast we'll raise. To Andrew and Dee, their insightful gaze. For in the world of screams and fright, they bring us joy in the darkest night.